Where are you from? Introduce yourself. Where are you
All
from?
right. Well, all right. So my name is Permanent Mark, and I was born in Tripoli, Libya in 1967 to an SAS Special Forces fucking Englishman, South African English mum. My mum's an artist. My dad was Special Forces. He didn't have a art bone in his body, but she was an artist. She painted that one up there, and the Arab gentleman, these two. That's my mum actually. So like, she painted that. So I grew up watching her painting, I guess. And in a way, I'm half her and half my dad, as we all are, I guess. But so in '67, I'm born in Tripoli, Libya. Gaddafi comes in '69 and murders everybody. And the oil company, oil. I think my dad was selling weapons a lot because we used to go to the desert a lot, and he was still kind of mixed up with that shit. Anyway, in '69, Gaddafi comes in, murders everybody, and they're like, "All right, the heat's too hot. Let's get the fuck out of here." So we moved over to Algeria and Oran. So I lived in Algeria, Oran, until I was about, I think, 10. But at 8, um, I was called the white devil in my town because there was no other white people there. And I was mischievous little fucker. And my parents didn't care what the fuck I did, really. The police loved me, thank God. They'd always have me to dinner and come by and pick me up on the motorcycles and shit. But like, I grew up with Arabs. But at 8 years old, my dad was like, "Hey, we're gonna go to England and see your grandmother." I didn't even know I had fucking grandmother, and I never been on an airplane, so I was like, "Fucking airplane, hell yeah!" So I was all excited. So they get me on a fucking airplane, and I remember landing in Heathrow and looking out the window and going, "This is shit," you know. This was like, fucking '73 or something, and it was gray and miserable. And anybody that's seen old movies in England is fucking like Russia back then. So I was like, "This is fucking horrible." So the next day, they take me to this Harry Potter kind of fucking place in the middle of the countryside. I remember going up this driveway, there's some football fields and then a big kind of house, castle, and fucking places. It's like, "Oh, this is a place we're thinking about sending you to school in the future." And I was like, "All right, fucking hell." So I go in there and there's the headmistress, Mrs. Racket, and she's all like, "Oh, are you cute? Yeah." I'm like, "All right." Because like, Peter, take him around, show him the peacocks in the fucking swimming pool and the bees and all the bullshit. So I fuck off. I come back an hour later and my parents are gone, right? They fucked off. So they went. So suddenly I'm 8 and I'm in an English boarding school. I speak a little bit of English, French and Arabic is what I know. And then fucking suddenly I'm in an English boarding school, like just left there, like abandoned. And then the heat was on. It was like, "All right, well, 7 o'clock, get your pajamas on, brush your teeth. Peter's going to show you. Time for the lights to be out." I never went to bed before fucking midnight, probably in those days, even as a kid. So the first night, I remember it was a long dormitory, a long hallway, and there was single beds all the way along one way, all the way along the other way. The only bunk bed was where the door opened right here, and I was on the bottom. So then this fucking prefects, and the prefects are older kids that are like, they got teachers' duties, and they have, they go turn out the lights and make sure so the teachers don't have to fuck with it all. So this fucking cunt kicks the door and bang, and just slams on my bunk, like, "Wah." And he goes in and he goes, he just starts spitting at everybody, right, all the way down. And he comes back to me and he spits at me and he goes right in my fucking mouth. And I like freak out, like I'm an Arab because, I was born in Africa. I fought Arabs, I was a tough little fucker. I was a thief, I used to smoke cigarettes at 8. I mean, I was a little bastard, right? So this fucking guy, I was like, I went red. So I remember just grabbed him by the waist and I ran him down the center of this and smashed his back on one of those old radiators, those big metal English radiators, and he just crumpled. And they had to get the ambulance in there. So this guy's getting strapped up, and I'm screaming in Arabic, "Inta zig zig up, like fucking going bananas." And then I hear the teachers saying, "What we gonna do? We can't call his parents. They're fucking on the plane back to North Africa. It's not like a cell phone or nothing." So they had to just kind of deal with the bullshit, in the end. So that was my introduction. That was my introduction to the real world, like, "Okay, Mark, it's you against the fucking world now, mate. And, buck up because nobody's going to fucking help you." And that's pretty much the beginning of it all for me. I guess that's where I would start because after that, there was nothing really I was scared to do as far as traveling or just going places and living places. Yeah.
So what do you speak at the time when you went to this school at the top at the start?
Arabic, because I was in Algeria and North Africa, so a little bit of Arabic, not a lot of bad words in Arabic, but French fluently, like French Arabic
Oh,
and
sick.
Algerian Arabic, and they call it pied noir. I mean, basically, if you're white and you are born in Africa, they call you pied noir because that means the soles of your feet are black, but you're white, so that means Blackfoot. So I was a pied noir. There's a lot of pied noirs in France. You know, like if you watch football, the France team, Mbappe, Benzema, they're all fucking Algerians. You know, a lot of them are Pied Noirs from Pied Noir families. But yeah, so yeah, that was about it. And then what was next? Yeah, boarding school.
Yeah, what happened in boarding school? Like when do you
I did my time. It's not fucking prison in it. You know, you get 3 months a year to go see. It's like three big holidays a month, and then like a week off in between. You live in a fucking school full of dudes. You know, I did my thing. I got along with older kids, older dudes, and we'd meet up at the pubs. I met a great art teacher there. He pretty much changed my life because he saw I had a lot of talent in art. And he just like told my math teacher, look, this guy's he's shit, you know, he's not gonna do nothing. Let me just, you know, like he's gonna fail. Let me take him. So he got me out of that school with an A level, which was like a 2 year course in a year, and got me into college. But then I ran away. I was 16 actually at the time, and fucked off to Venice Beach. So after school, south of England and then North Wales, I stole 200 pounds out of my dad's fucking pocket. I had friends in California, so I used to visit a lot, and I loved it over here. And one day I was fed up and I didn't want to go back to school. I was like, fuck this. So I took 200 pounds, and back then you could get one-way tickets. So I just got on the fucking plane and ended up in Westlake. I rang the doorbell. Hey, what the fuck are you doing here? You're gonna be in school. I was like, yeah, I ain't going back to school. I'm not going back to England. And then and they're like, all right, come in, call your dad. And I was like, yeah, fuck England. And he's like, oh, really? All right, fucking hell, I'm proud of you for doing something. I thought I was gonna be really pissed. He says, all right, make your bed. They're gonna take you up, get a job, and I'll be there in a month. That's what happened. So that's how I ended up in America.
all right, let's back up.
Yep.
Uh when did you start doing art? How did your art teacher discover you?
Art for
When did you
me
start
was, you know, as a kid, you know, my mum was painting these paintings and I'd paint my little fucking paintings. And, you know, that was really like, I always had it in me. And then when I ran away to California, I met a guy who was my neighbor called Matt Scarrett, who Tom Scarrett from Top Gun. He was the actor's son. And he took me down to Venice Beach one time. This was probably in 1985, I think. And I went down there. I said, fuck that. And I had a car I just bought. So I went back to the valley, sold the car, took the bus with 5 grand in my pocket, and just rang every fucking doorbell on the boardwalk to try to get into a place you know, to rent. And finally, one fucking guy's like, well, you don't have no credit. You're only like fucking 18 or 17, however fuck old I was. And I go, well, I'll pay you 5 months in advance. And he's like, deal. So I was in. And then that was the beginning in Venice Beach. And then I lived in Venice for a long time doing art. And that was the big, you know, in my teen years, you know, struggling hard. And then I met a friend and I got into the movie industry for Roger Corman. And I was doing feature films for the B movies and commercials and some videos. But I started off as a painter, head painter. Then I became art director and then a production designer. And then I was like, fuck this. I was the youngest production designer in Hollywood. I was 21, telling people what to do. They didn't like it. Anyway, at that time I was bored of it. And that's when tattooing came into my life about 89. And Tattoo Bob was tattooing me. He was the only tattoo shop in Venice. And I finally said, you know, I'm interested in this shit. And so he like, you know, helped me out. And so I started working there. Uh, fuck
I was,
89.
I was gonna ask this way later,
Yeah.
but did you know at this time that your life was totally different than everybody else's? Did you realize that you were just
I realized it in boarding school. You know, I realized it when I got there, and I realized that I was white. You know, because I was just an Arab, when I was growing up, my mate Saeed, I still remember the cunts. You know, we would steal cigarettes. My dad would drop me off at school. I'd climb through a hole in the fence. He'd be on the bicycle. We'd go steal some comics, beef comics, cigarettes, and we go fishing all fucking day. This would go on and on and on and on. My dad was really pissed off about it because I'd never be in fucking school, right? So like, yeah, it all started very young for me, you know, and definitely the gypsy thing. My mother was a gypsy, lived all over the world. My dad was the same way. So for me, I was a chameleon, and that's why I lived in so many countries. You know, Amsterdam, Japan for 7 years, Amsterdam about 8 years, South Africa, fucking Japan. I mean, everywhere. Like, when I go somewhere, Thailand, I want to immerse myself into the culture. You know,
Yeah,
and that's the whole thing is people spend all their money in fucking colleges when the world will teach you everything you got to know. You just got to keep an open mind and fucking do what makes you happy, and you'll be all right. You know, fuck the bullshit. I mean, you got to make money and pay the bills and shit.
of course.
But I find that later in life, the universe will fucking, you'll work for it, and then it'll give you. If you're open and you can see what your talents are, it'll give you that, and then it'll start paying you back. You know, so all right, you don't have to work with the shitheads anymore. Now you can just be on your own doing your art.
All right, paint a picture when you're a young kid. When you walked out your front door, what sort of place were you living at? What happened when you walked outside when you went to school? What happened? Like, what does it look like to some Westerner if you had to explain it to them?
All right, well, Algeria is what I remember more than Libya. Algeria, I remember a lot. So, we live right by the beach, but on this big cliff. And it was called Clairefontaine, the area in Algeria. And I think there was an American school a little bit away with a few white kids, but nothing in my neighborhood. But yeah, it was, just Arabs, it was a big house because, it was cheap probably. Um, Yeah, but I did have this one occasion now that you said that I used to go down on the beach every day and go swimming, or most of the time. And this one time we got a kidnap ransom, and and it was like straight up from a movie, with all the fucking cutout fucking things, hey, and basically it's like, I want if you don't put it was 10 grand or something like that under the trash can at this time, you won't see your wife and kid again, or I'm gonna kill him or something like that. Do not tell the police. So my fucking dad, of course, calls the police, and the police are my mates. These motherfuckers would every time they get a new motorcycle or a new car, they'd come to my house. Hey, is Mark here? And they get me on the back. They'd take me everywhere. And then if I wasn't home by like fucking 10 or 11, they'd call the cop station. I'd be having dinner with them. So they love my ass. So he called them and they got pissed. So the whole entire fucking neighborhood, I remember, was undercover. There was like a bomb and a guy selling oranges and all this shit. So we were waiting for this motherfucker to come to this trash can. And sure as hell he did. And it ended up being some Navy guy, American Navy guy, that had knocked up some, Algerian girl and got himself in some trouble, but met me on the beach because I'm social as a kid. I talked to everybody. So he knew everything about me. And so they grabbed his ass and, they were going to execute him. And then they're like, what are we going to do? And my dad's like, nah, leave him alone. Just send him back to America, the poor cunt, but they were going to take his hand off or some shit. Anyway, so I remember that. And I actually confirmed that with my mother last year. I was over in Spain. And I said, hey, I remember the story and I have it on video. And she was telling me, oh, yeah. And she went through the whole thing. So I know it's not my fucking memory playing tricks on me.
Well, shit. I'll do it. You owned a bar in Spain, am I correct?
Yeah, this is another one of my failed fucking projects. But like successful, but just for circumstance. And I'm a bad businessman. I'm more of an artistic type, and I know what people like. But as far as the numbers, I'm not good with the shit. But so like basically what happened was I left there, went to the tattoo studio in Venice. So I'll just go through that way, and then I end up at the bar. So I'm in Venice, and then I do about 2 years there, and it's about time to get out of my house in Venice, and the lease is up. And I knew back then that California is a place that is like quicksand. Once you're in it, it's hard to get the fuck out. So I said, you got to get the fuck out before you get into another house. So anyway, I fucked off to South Africa, to Cape Town, where my mother was from. I'd never been there before. So I went down there in 1990 and opened a tattoo shop. It cost me $300 a month, man. The fucking place was massive. It was like a city block big. I mean, it was so big, it was ridiculous. So I opened the first shop called Steel Toe Tattoo down there. This is my biker years. I used to wear steel toe boots all the fucking time. So I call it steel toe boots. Steel toe. Nothing to do with skinheads really. It was a biker thing. Anyway, so I'm in South Africa. I watched Mandela come out. Was the first tattooer there. Did that bullshit. And then I started wanting to work for Hanky Panky in Amsterdam because he was so fucking famous. He did all, the Chili Peppers album cover, Sugar Sex Magic, the one with the tongues. So he was really well known, did all the rock stars. So I went to his place from South Africa, flew to Amsterdam, and he kicked me out. And basically, I went every 6 months and he kept kicking me out. Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off. And finally, he was like, you again? And I think it was the third or fourth time. And he goes, look, if you want a fucking job, be here at 11 tomorrow morning. And they just closed the shop to remodel. So it was a big line of people. So I was there at 11. I turned down a date with two Dutch chicks actually that night. I said, "Nah, I can't go with you because I gotta be at this fucking tattoo shop. I've been after this job for a long time." So anyway, I go there and I do like 15 tattoos in one day. It was like 1994, I think 94 or something. So anyway, I get a job at Hanky Panky's, and because I worked at Hanky Panky's at that point, the doors were wide open for me. I just could call anywhere in the world and say, hey, Canada, Australia, fucking Thailand, I work for Hanky Panky, can I work for a week in your shop? Oh, fuck yeah, that's how it works. So, I did that for a while. In Amsterdam, lived there for a while. And then shit got heavy there for a minute with a bunch of tattooers. Drugs got involved. I was always a drinker and a womanizer and smoked weed. I was never into any real drugs. And so people got all fucked up and everything went to hell. So I kind of quit. And then I ended up in Northwest Territories, traveled for a while, and then in Japan. So now I'm in Japan because this is like 95, 6, no, yeah, 96. Something like that. So at this point, the one thing the tattoo industry can talk shit about me is that, like, oh yeah, PM, he's a great fucking traditional tattooer, but he can't do Japanese. So I'm like, all right. So I moved to Japan. So I start studying in Japan, and Horiyoshi becomes one of my best friends, and studied a lot there. I had a clothing line there, a fucking magazine there. I tried it all. And after 7 years in Japan, I got married there. I had a shotgun wedding there in a way. And then, anyway, I had a baby there. She's here now. And my wife, Japanese. So, got married. And then after 7 years, I said, fuck this. I moved back to California. Did a little bit here. Really over tattooing. Wanted to get out of it. Then my dad died, left me a little bit of money, not a lot. And that's when I opened the bar in fucking Palma, Mallorca. And Palma, Mallorca is where my mom, on my holidays, my mom lived there. So it was my favorite place. I always remember. It's such a beautiful fucking island. You could swim. The food's great. You can stay up late. So I went there and had some money. And I tried to buy an apartment. It didn't work. And I said, well, I'll do this bar. And I opened the bar. And then I realized that in fucking Europe, the taxes are 70% of what you make minimum.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so I made like, 50 grand, 60 grand in the month, which over there is a lot of money. And here's your $1,000. I was like, 1,000? It was ridiculous. So in the end, I said, fuck this, and got out of there. Luckily, right before COVID happened. So that would have killed me anyway. And then I came back here destitute, actually, because I lost everything. I didn't have a fucking dime on me. And I was like 6 months behind on rent. I think I owed about 16 grand. And finally, it was coming to the crunch. And then the people that I sold my tattoo shop to, my mate and my apprentice, fired me because some other asshole came in there, one of these steroid fuckers, and doesn't like alpha dogs. So he convinced them to get rid of me, which was just shocking. But I wasn't, when they told me they wanted to have me and they sent me around to go, blah, blah, and I'm like, I didn't say anything. I said, all right, cool. So I fucked off, came out and go, now what are you going to do? And then I saw my fucking old silk screen table I had. And I was like, well, you got art. That's it, mate. That's all you got left. And then, sure as shit, I call Horiyoshi, can I do a print of you? I call Loretta Lou, Felix Lou's wife, Philip Lou's mom. Hey, can I do a print of Felix? Yeah. So I made like 6 of them, put them online. Bananas. I made my rent within 3 weeks. All that rent, 16 grand. Here you go. Fucking hell. And what was crazy is all those years I was searching for something apart from tattooing, right? And I knew it was right in front of my face. And I used to tell people it was like invisible testicles that were just slapping me in the nose, you know? And I was like, I know it's there. I just can't fucking figure it out. And I was like, my ears are open. I'm spiritual, you know, I'll listen to the shit. And I'm like, fucking hell, what is it? What is it? And it literally, the universe had to chop me down to like where I had no arms, no legs. It reminds me of that Monty Python movie, right? Like, come on, here, come back, here, you can. And then, sure as shit, as soon as I did the art, it was like, here you go, here you go, here you go. And I said, okay, if I could do this for 1 year without tattooing, I'll be stoked. And then another year and another year, and it's been about 4.5 years. So I'm like, I got clientele and I'm happy as fuck. So I'm exactly where I'm meant to be because, you know, I was 52 when that shit happened and I'm 55 now, but at 52, I was like, that's it, you know, permanent mark. So what? You know, I mean, okay, I'm well known in the tattoo industry. I did my shit. They're a fucking legend. Who gives a fuck? You know, it's like, and then what? That's it. I was just so like, that can't be it. And then when the art thing came in, I go, okay, now I'm going to crush the fucking art world. So now my whole concentration on is until I'm dead, paint, 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 paint. Do as much art as I fucking can or whatever artistic shit I can do where I'm just leaving so much shit on the earth, you know, that I am remembered longer. Maybe that's vanity. I don't know what the fuck that is. But for me, it was like, I just don't want to be like, you know, dead. I've had so many people die and they're there and they're dead and everybody forgets about it, you know, fucking 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, forget about it. You know, I don't want to be like fucking Poison, you know, I want to be like Led Zeppelin or Black Sabbath, you know what I mean? I want to live for a long fucking time, you know what I mean? So that's how I'm taking my art very, very seriously. I'm taking it to my death. And I want to be that old guy with a beard on a bed with a big doing something on the wall, you know, fucking, that's it. So that's good. So I'm finally did all that bullshit in my life and now I'm here. So that's the long and the skinny of it. Sorry for talking so fucking much into it, but
That's why
that's
we're here.
bum shit.
That is why we're here.
If
What's
you
your
want to rewind somewhere, if you want to rewind anywhere, just tell me.
Oh, no, that's all we're doing. What's your hang up with tattooing? Why
I don't
you're known for being
tattoo. Okay, listen, I tell people all of this. I say you could be in the porn industry for 30 years, fucking the best bitches in the world, but then you'll get sick of fucking. I mean, honestly, you got it, right? I could be an actor, right? I get my Oscar, and then what? You know, I mean, it's like that. So for me, 30 years of tattooing, it was enough. It was enough. It's like I came to a realization that if I'm not gonna if I'm not going to bed excited about the next day of what I'm gonna do, and I wake up early now. I never used to wake up early because I didn't have to. The tattoo shop opens at 11. Now I'm up like at dawn trying to get shit done because I've already got it in my head. Okay, I'm going to make this. And that's exactly where you're meant to be. I mean, I figured that like in life, if you can find that, you know, where you want to wake up and you want to do this shit, then you're exactly where you're meant to be. Everything else apart from that ain't where you're meant to be in this fucking planet. I mean, that's just like I don't even call it work. It's not work. I've been retired since then. You know, I lost everything. And then I retired and I just started doing art and I'm selling my fucking art. So, you know, for me, it's like a win-win-win. You know, thank God people buy the shit, which is just incredible to me. And I appreciate it a lot because, you know, I mean, people are spending their fucking hard-earned money when eggs are crazy and gas was crazy and all that shit. And they're giving me money for shit to put on their wall. And also with me, after all that time I did in the tattoo business, you know, I tell people, look, you know, you're buying this for this price now, but when I'm fucking dead, and I will be dead, you know, that shit is just doubled in price in the tattoo business. You want to sell it on fucking line, you just doubled or tripled your money. And that's only the tattoo world. I'm going for the art. But like, that's that. You know what I mean? So for me, you know, tattooing's great and everything, but I had no more passion for it. And I don't want to fake it. And I was miserable. And maybe that's why my mates fired me. And I'm a happy cunt. You can talk to anybody. He's always like smiling, you know, but I just wasn't fucking happy. So really that's what happened. But art is amazing because art, I've been through about 5 or 6 different series now, you know, between the prints and then the collages and some of the clay stuff. And then the cyanotypes, and then now with these rugs. What's great about it is as soon as I start getting bored of it, there's another thing I can do. You know, I've already got things, you know, like sculptures and so much shit. So there's so much in the art world that you can utilize that you'll never get bored. With tattooing, I did Japanese tattoos. I studied all the stuff. I lived in the fucking with the headhunters. I did all the stuff. You know, I don't know if you knew. I did that TV show called Permanent Mark. It was my show on Spike TV, and then they did 3 episodes: Borneo, Thailand, and Japan, all by hand tattoos. Me getting it done by the masters, and then I come back. Oh, we love you, Mark, but we're gonna change the format. What's the format? I said, oh, you're gonna do a Project Runway, huh? And they was like, well, kind of. I go, who's the judge? Dave Navarro. I was going, Dave, he's a guitar player. And then Sharon Levy, the producer, is like, yeah, but he knows. I said, listen, Sharon, are you gonna have me as a head judge on the fucking Top Chef? Because I like burgers, but I don't know how to cook them, right? I said, no, you're not, right? So fuck you, I mean, this is bullshit. And I said, no, no way. And they go, you're going to turn down 50 grand? I said, yeah, I'm going to turn down 50 grand. Are you rich? They told me. I said, no, I am fucking broke, whatever. And they go, well, how can you turn down the money? And I said to her, I'll never forget it. I said, well, I got to take a shave every morning and look in the fucking mirror, Sharon. And that shit ain't going to happen. I ain't going to be your goddamn monkey. Next thing you know, you're going to make me wear a top hat with a fucking waistcoat, with a wallet watch. I know how you fuckers work in Hollywood. The show that I had was my show. I produced it. I wrote the fucking episodes, and we went into those things. Let's go find the headhunters in Borneo. It was great. It was like a Bourdain kind of thing, me and tattooed. And it's like an education. It's like, come with me on a trip to check out real tattoos, not the Miami Ink shit. You know what I mean?
What is a headhunter?
The headhunters are in Borneo.
Explain that.
Tribe, the Iban. There's a few tribes over there. Borneo is the biggest island in the world, and there's a Malaysian side and an Indonesian side. But you'll see they have the big things on them. But back in the day, they would take the heads, and they have tribal tattoos originated from that, pretty much that black work from their stuff. I mean, if you look, I don't know if it's even out there anymore, but there was a time on Vimeo, and it was Permanent Mark, and they had a few of my episodes on there. But like, Spike TV just put the kibosh on me because I told them to fuck off. So they just kind of crushed it everywhere. They were like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't put it there. But I know people were leaking it. But that will explain to you. But if you look at Borneo Headhunters, you'll see that whole thing. But for me, tattooing is all about that. It's all about fucking history, protection. It's not about, oh, I think it's cute, Bella Vita, we lost something there for a minute, you know what I mean? And I don't hate it. I love tattoos because tattoo, I idolize, I still Hacky Packy Horiyoshi of my other fathers. I always had 3 dads, my real dad and my tattoo father. One was Hank, who showed me everything, and then Horiyoshi in Japan that just showed me the Japanese ways. But yeah, I mean, so I have a lot of love for it. But in the end, I still do the odd hand poke tattoo. And I'll tell you, like, if a friend of mine loses somebody, like a mum or something, and he wants a memorial tattoo, I'll do it. Because, I'm not taking it from the universe because the universe gave it to me and gave me a lot. But what I'm saying is, I don't want to make my rent on tattooing anymore. Those days are over. I don't want to sit in a shop all day to do this big. And that's what it ended up being. I felt like a fucking janitor. After 30 years, I felt like I was taking out the trash in the hospital when I should be the chief of the hospital. And that was what was happening. Motherfuckers were coming in and they give it to the young guy. Oh, I want a traditional Panther. There goes, good looking young guy. And I'm in the corner like, You know, I was like, I can't do this shit. It was very, very, very demoralizing.
Yeah.
And that's when I said, enough is enough, Mark. Get your big boots on and let's get the fuck out.
What was your first tattoo that you did? Do you remember?
Yeah, on my friend Scott, actually, in the kitchen. That's where I learned. It's in Venice Beach. Yeah, it was a biker. Yeah, I did Scott. I had one that you plugged in the wall. I think it was for some makeup fucking shit. That was good. It looked like shit. Looks really bad. I still see the cunt. If there's someone comes from Venice Beach from the 80s, hey, PM, I'm like, oh, run away. I want to look at anything. Single needle, 3-line skip shading. Fuck, you know. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I like hand poke tattoos. You know, for me, all this Thailand shit that I got from the monks, you know, for me, this is what it's all about. Fucking this shit. Fuck the bullshit. It's all about this kind of stuff. All this fucking Thailand, you know, ham poke or, you know, shit like that. I like
So how do they do that? How you said
is
hands
a,
like how what's
well, it's called Sakyant. Hold on 1 second. I'll show you the tool. I just gotta get around my rugs.
oh we're gonna talk about all the
It's,
rest. Everything you're doing. Yeah. Oh shit.
so this is a metal sphere.
Holy shit.
And let me put some white behind it here. All right, so you can see it. All right, so it's like a fountain pen.
Yeah.
So it's got a cut in it. There it is. So
Holy
there's a
shit.
cut. So basically, it's like tweezers on steroids. So they basically will get you, and they dip it in the ink, and they just fucking and it is a motherfucker. I got my throat, my hands. Woo. It's called Sakyant.
And they
S-A-K.
do that, they do it with their hands specifically, or is like do they like hit it with a hammer or something like that?
Oh,
What?
just with this, just like that. Just poke it.
Oh
You
shit.
just go like bang, 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 bang. But there's tweezers on it. It's very pinchy. So when it hits you, it's not only sharp, it has a pinch to it. So it's definitely the most painful tattoo I've ever had. Most hand tattoos are not painful at all. Like Japanese tattoos, thank you, mate, are not painful at all. They're like fucking easy. Actually, Japanese tattoos, the tabori is easier than any machine you'll ever use because they have like a bunch of needles. You imagine one needle and you poke yourself, it hurts. You imagine you make like a bunch of needles like the size of your thumb, and then poke yourself, you don't feel it so much anymore. So that is like the tabori. So it doesn't feel so bad actually. It's like really pretty fucking easy. But this shit is beyond crazy. And then you know the Samoans use the whale bone and they tap it in, and that is oh okay. Weird. Sorry, my kid. So yeah, so the Samoans, you know, they do the payas and all that, and that's done with tapping, and it's got whale bone. It's like a comb that goes in there. So all the different Pacific islands. I mean, tattooing's been going on forever. I mean, honestly, people will say all the time, "Well, who had the first tattoo?" And Hank would tell you, and Hanky Panky, Hank Schiefmacher in Holland, is the pre-knowledge of tattoo. I mean, he's the walking encyclopedia, but he will say shit like, "Well, you know, the mark upon Cain." You know, like he tattooed the motherfucker 666, right? But okay, so that's like what he will joke about. But honestly, when you look at through the history, there's mummies that are thousands of years old with tattoos. You know, people have been getting them for a long, long, long time to, you know, mark tribes or whatever. But our theory, my theory, and I think he mentioned, he said it to me probably originally, is you imagine you're a caveman and you're going around and there's an old tree that's been hit by lightning, you know, so it's kind of charcoal. The thing breaks and just cuts your arm, but leaves a mark in you. So, you know, they're marking themselves to show that I'm from this cave and you're from that cave, right? So now they don't have to paint it on there. They got this clay in there. So really, I think tattooing started from the dawn of man as far as like a permanent solution to like a marking your territory or your tribe. I mean, even in Nigeria, when I was down there, I got arrested down there. I went to jail in Nigeria. That's another fucking story. But even down there, you know, the Yoruba and the Ibu, and you know, some will have 3 or 2, so you know who's who. So it's, you know, it's tattooing has been a big part of that. Now the Thai tattoo and all this is protection. This is like called Stop Gun, which is meant to stop bullets, but I just like the way it looked. Obviously, I'm not trying to get shot. Then I got Mother, Father. The tiger is a strength, power. And yeah, it's like strength, power. Yeah, you know, whatever. It's all protection, good luck, good juju is what I call it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So much to unpack there.
Yeah,
Make
so
a little something you said earlier. You mentioned that you're spiritual to some extent.
oh,
What does that mean for you?
to the full extent.
Full extent.
But I don't have a fucking I don't have to look at a picture of a Viking Jesus, a blonde, blue-eyed Jesus who's born in Palestine. I mean, the motherfucker looks like, I believe Jesus is a real character walking around, but you know, like Buddha and all these people, I think there were people actually going around trying to do good and people trying to do the Chinese whispers out of it and turn it into a money monopoly fucking thing and organize, which is wrong. But um, on the spiritual side of things, what the hell? How did I start that shit? I got caught up with that. No, for me, okay. So basically, you know, it's the universe, isn't it? It's the universe. It's like fucking your spirit guides, your fucking guardian angel, whatever the fuck you want to call it. People have to put a face, like a big old guy with a beard on a fucking cloud. You know, that ain't what it is to me. I ain't one God gone. I'm gonna answer all your prayers every time there's a football game on. You know, like, hey, it's fucking ridiculous, right? And like for me, he's traveled as much as I have, and I've been in mosques in the Sahara Desert, you know, like big ones, you know, real ones, and you know, synagogues and Catholic churches and Buddhist temples, and in every single one of those places, I got exactly the same energy out of it, and that energy is the same fucking thing. And what these people don't realize is they're all meditating to a certain extent, wishing for something or doing something. It's a sense of meditation, but they're just putting a picture on it when it's all the same fucking thing. You know, it ain't a fat fucking Asian or a fucking old fucking man with a beard, you know what I mean? Or an Arab with a fucking big black thing with a big sword, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just the same shit. So you're all doing the same shit. You're all like, in the end, ironically, meditating, praying for the same shit. Every night I go to bed, I say, you know, I'm thank you. I'm very fucking thankful. Great fucking day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, spirit guides, blah, 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 blah. I got my few things in my head, mom, dad. Every night I go to bed. But I'm certainly not praying to no fucking, you know, church. No, I'm not giving them no fucking money for sure. No, you know what I mean? I'm pissed off some people.
What was like your original, maybe not original, what was your goal? What has been your goal, I guess, since the start with art or anything?
Well, anything has always been, you know, like everybody, money and fame, innit? I mean, really, you come down to it. You want to make money, you want to be famous. I mean, for me, it was always like, it's an adventure. I mean, if I look back on it, back to the spirituality kind of bullshit too, I tell people, look, you get spit out of the pussy and you get handed a ticket, just like you just came into fucking Magic Mountain. You can get on the big ass ride and you can go extreme highs, and with extreme highs, happiness is extreme loneliness. Or you can get on the teacups. You can ride the fucking teacups and have that nice, safe life with the get the job, get the house, retire, die, you know. Or you say, you know, I'm a bit more adventurous, but with those extreme highs, there are extreme lows. So there's just everything has the same equal balance, you know what I mean? And once you accept the fact that, like, I always said I had 7 good years and like 3 shitty years. usually around 7 years, if he's doing really good, I'll be like, all right, who's gonna die? What's gonna happen? And then it usually happens, but I'm ready for it. And then, this is just the way life is. It's normal. People die. It sucks. My parents died. I had to bury my mother fucking, when was it? Just 8 months ago, I mean, in Spain. So it was like, but this is life. She was 96. What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? I
You're right.
loved her, but like still there with me. It's not, I'm not overthinking it. The worst thing she would want from me is to mourn her, because she was a spiritual tarot card reading psychic woman.
Yeah, you mentioned that she was kind of like a gypsy-esque person.
Mm.
I guess what are
Yeah,
that?
hypnotherapist, fucking, did it all. She was in the movies a long time ago. She was dating Roger Moore before my dad. She was in some of those Saint TV shows, a few movies with Burt Lancaster. So she had a fucking history. Her parents were a whole nother fucking history there. Crazy. You know what I mean? I don't know if you ever saw that movie. It's on Netflix. It's called 6 Days, about the Iranian embassy siege in London, where the SAS went in there. But it's called 6 Days. Watch it on Netflix. And my dad was a part of that whole special forces. So I'm in boarding school when this is going on. And in boarding school, there's all these Persian kids back then, and they're watching this shit go down. And it's like everything's getting fucking weird, but not to change the subject. So basically, it's like I had a very kind of military, but he was a drinker. He was English. He was special forces. Like 15 years old. I didn't like him at all when I was young because he sent me to boarding school. And at 15, he took me to the pub on a half term and he sat me down. And the bar guy's like, Jerry, how old's your son? He goes, he's fucking 18. And he goes, what do you want, bitter or lager? And I go, what do you have? And he goes, bitter. I go, I'll have a lager. So then that's why I start drinking these fuckers. That's why I'm not into craft beers. So
Yeah.
so he sits me there and I have 3 pints. And I throw up in the toilet and I come back. And he goes, you get sick? I go, yeah. And he goes, all right, now three's your fucking limit. I don't want a fucking asshole as a son who can't handle his fucking alcohol. He goes, I don't want someone under the table pulling on trouser legs. Now, to everybody else, that makes no fucking sense. But you got to think of him as a military man in those old movies where they're all on the long table with their tuxedos and their fucking big mustaches. There's always one cunt under the fucking table that's too fucking drunk, right? With the whole way. So he's talking about that guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all that. So, and that always stuck with me. And after that, it's probably the best lesson I ever had in my fucking life, to be honest with you, because after that, when my mates got shiterated, I always carry their asses home. So from then on, when I get too drunk or pissed, to this day, I just disappear. I don't even say goodbye. I just go, like, I'm out, and just go home. Oh, I've had enough. Fucking done.
So I guess so your mom was just kind of a gypsy, and your dad was kind of the opposite. How the hell did they meet?
Oh, fuck me. That's an interesting story. All right. So my mother's first husband, my brother's dad, was called Brian, an American, and he used to beat the shit out of my mother. He was a real piece of shit guy because she was so beautiful. So he'd always like threaten her with boiling water on her fucking face, whatever. So finally, uh, there was this in Piccadilly Circus. There was a family friend. I'm still close to him, who had a bar downstairs, which was one of those military bars. And they played the piano, there were big mustaches, and it was a club, a private club, which meant it was kind of like your version of the Eagles or the one of these Rotary clubs. So she came in with a black eye one time, and Pat, who was a family friend forever, said, what the fuck, and then my dad was there, said, oh, this fucking cunt's beating her. He's like, oh, yeah? So they fucking, I guess they were staying in a hotel above a pub above a pub. It used to be like one of them hotel pub things. So they went in there, I guess, at night and went off the roof with some fucking ropes through the window and fucking hogtied this cunt up and put him in the closet. And hogtied said, listen, you fucking son of a bitch. You're gone. You're not coming back. You're not talking to Della no more. You're the fuck out of here. She's keeping the kid. You're gone. So, like, I guess the maid found him the next day, hung up in the closet, upside down, all hogtied, and he was gone. And that was the end. So then they went to Libya. And then that was in, probably 66. Yeah, Libya 66. And remember, Libya back then and Algeria was like Spain, there was no fucking war. This was like the Mediterranean. There was hotels, people had skirts, there was bars, there was clubs, there was alcohol. It was before the crazy shit came in, Gaddafi. So it was a cool place to be. And anyway, yeah, so that was pretty much how I went.
Holy shit. Well, I mean, what a fucking start. And so much to unpack there. I guess I gotta switch gears. I want to talk about some of the shit that's behind you, if you can.
Yeah, whatever. Oh yeah, sure.
Please.
Well, my mother gave me, first of all, she gave me this one. It's fucking great. So this was this one here, this Arab gentleman. But look on the back of it. It says, to Mark, for your 10th birthday, I painted this for you as you asked. Love, Mummy. 1977. So at 10 years old, I asked her to paint me a painting. So this is what I asked for my fucking present. And then on my 21st birthday, she had that, and I said, I want that fucker. I've always loved it. And so she, so I got that one. And then when she died, she had this on the wall, but she lost a lot of the art.
Yeah.
What was weird was when I went back to Spain, there's this one in the corner there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like this weird, like, death thing, like a fucking the porthole. Oh, fuck. Anyway, so when I went back to, there was an empty apartment, she was gone. I was like, fuck. I went to the back of the room and I just reached down behind the couch and I pulled that painting out. I'd never seen it before. Right after she died, I was tripping with all her goddamn tarot cards and shit. I got drunk one night when I was there and I busted out the tarot cards. The first card I got was death. No shit. I mixed them up real good, like death. And I was like, fuck, it was so crazy. She taught me when I was young how to do all that shit, but it scared the shit out of me. I was a teenager and I started getting really bad fucking dreams, so I just stopped it. Well, she was a spiritual woman, so she taught me how to do tarot cards and stuff. But when you're reading those cards and stuff, you're opening yourself up to a bunch of bullshit, right? And I was like 15, so there was these entities trying to fucking come in and fuck with me, you know what I mean? I could feel it. So I just stopped doing it. I had a couple bad dreams, one of my brother who had passed away, and then one of my mom, and I was like, fuck this. And I was like, I don't want to deal with this shit. So it was one of those things where it was just like, nah. Now I'm old enough, I'm not scared of shit so much anymore, especially the spiritual world. I mean, not gonna catch me going around a fucking insane asylum at night like those cunts on TV. No, I'm not gonna do that. But I ain't gonna be, like tripping out. What I mean? I don't want no bangs or nothing, but I've seen ghosts. I saw one in my boarding school.
What was it? What did you see? What did you see? What did you see?
Okay. So at that fucking first boarding school where they dropped me off, it was a renowned ghost there called the Blue Lady. And don't really know the history, but in the woods down there too was a very famous like witchcraft devils thing where they would have pagans night, and it was really fucking weird because we go on nature walks and see crows nailed to the fucking tree and satanic shit. That shit would scare me, right? A lot. Anyway, so I'd be pretty fucking terrified in boarding school, I remember. Anyway, at night we would, like, if you couldn't sleep, you go and sit on someone's bed and go, hey mate, I can't fucking sleep, because you're scared, right? You're kids. And so one night it's freezing and we had like a sheet and 2 blankets, so it's pretty fucking cold over my head. And then I felt something sit on my legs or somebody, and I'm like, oh mate, everything's all right, go back to sleep, don't worry about it. And then it didn't answer me, right? So I look over and all I see is a fucking crease on my legs, like sitting there. And I'm like, holy fuck, so I got that, right? And I covered my fucking head like completely, and I'm just freaking out. And then I felt the pressure go off my legs. And then at that point, I look over and I just saw this lady, blue lady with a candle, get up and just kind of walk out the fucking door. It's fucking crazy. And everybody talks about the blue lady. And there was another ghost there that I never saw, who was a kid with half a jaw because he blew his fucking head off with a shotgun or something. And luckily I didn't see that cut because the blue lady was all right, you know what I mean? But fuck, you know. Anyway, so yeah, I believe in all that shit, spirituality, even reincarnation, whatever. But
Yeah.
I'm open to everything. I'm not like closed-minded. I just I don't know, so I'll go with this. All I know is I'm not going to a church and being bored and giving you a bunch of damn money.
There's your shirt right there. I don't know, so I'll go with this. What's the blue thing right behind you? Blue skull right behind you.
Oh, nothing really. I was making a bunch on my Instagram down low. I was doing these museum skulls, but like more realistic mummified skulls. And then I had an extra one with a bunch of turquoise, so I just put that together. Nothing really like, it was just the one that I didn't really try to sell.
Where'd you get the feathers?
I got these online probably. Some like fucking turkey feathers and whatever. Nothing special. Yeah, all this stuff I just found. I had a whole box full of feathers because I was dressing these skulls up with all the, like with the old beads and making it with rope and twine and making it look like museum pieces. That one's just a mishmash of what I had left over, so it's a bit more easy.
Then you have the Dalai Lama back there. See
Yeah,
that?
man. I mean, I think he's a good dude. I made a painting years ago of him, and it just never sold, and I just had it hanging on the fucking wall. But it's always good to have someone like that hanging over you. I think you can't go wrong with those people because they don't judge you for being, they ain't gonna tell me asshole
Yeah, they
for
don't
like,
judge you for being you.
yeah, you do you, I do me, and that's why I got all these tattoos by the monks. It wasn't that I was particularly Buddhist. It was because they didn't give a fuck if you were Jewish or whatever. They're like, all welcome,
Yeah.
happy to know you.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So you have all these like beautiful pictures. They're like cut up. This is my interpretation of them. They're like cut up, stacked on each other in some ways, but it's still the visual image of them.
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit to me? I don't. What's going on there?
All right, I'll turn my thing like the Indian over here. Look at my what's that native there?
Yeah.
That's the largest one I made. But so basically it's cyanotype. And cyanotype is like the oldest form of printing, I guess. It's not photography, but the actual print. So basically, some French guy in 1850 got these two chemicals, and if you mix them together and lay them on the paper, wipe it on the paper, let it dry, and then put a negative on it, it'll print in the sun. The UV will make it go. You've probably seen them in cheap ass hotels where they have like fucking it's blue with like flower stalks
Yeah.
because people use it as like a negative thing. So I was like, well, fuck, if you could put a flower, then I could make a picture out of it. So I would take a picture and just cut it down one photograph into a bunch of photographs, maybe 50, 60. I think there's about 90 in there. And then I would get transparencies made of the negative of each piece. And then do the paper, cut the pieces up, put them in the sun, water peroxide, it develops. And then I piece them together like a big puzzle, glue them together, and then paint on top of it. So it's like a process. But I really like using nature and not chemicals, not because I'm a hippie or nothing. It's just more that it's not necessary to use chemicals, I always found. And the non-chemical things dry faster. So I was like, why are you going to use oils and fucking shit that smells and fucks you up when you can probably use something that's water-based?
Yeah. Well, fucking there you go. What's your day look like in general, like now? Because you're in your studio and are you in Venice Beach? Is that right? Where are
No,
you?
I'm in Santa Barbara, California.
Barbara.
Yeah.
Look like.
Yeah, I've been here for a long time. When I left Japan, I came here. A friend of mine lived here, and I overtook his house when he left. But me, I get up in the morning now, 7, 8, make my tea, watch a bit of news, come to the studio, say good morning, you cunts. We're gonna have a good day to the spirits of the fuckers. make some money, and then watch a bit of the news or like Netflix or music, and that's all I do. I don't have to deal with nobody. My life is completely my life now. It's like I'm retired. I don't even have to fucking. I don't even call it. It's not fair to call it work because I think the word work has a kind of negative connotation to it. You know what I mean? It's like work it just says I don't really want to do it. That's what work sounds like to me. For me, it's like just want to do it. When I was in Spain, I couldn't do a lot of stuff, so I was sketching on the beaches every day because with the ink pens because I couldn't paint. So I was going crazy. Started realizing how much I miss the studio space just to get in and do whatever the fuck I want. And all those years I was actually doing the art as well. Even through the years of tattooing, I was doing art shows. You can only do like one a year, if that, one every year, every 2 years, and that's it. And then you're in one place. Not everybody can go there. And then you owe money, you make your money, you pay off the fucking debts, and then you're done. But now you got Instagram. So suddenly, like when I did those goddamn prints, when I lost everything and I made it all back, if Instagram didn't exist, like I would never have survived, honestly, because I was sending to Japan, Italy, fucking China, all over Europe. I mean, it was like all over the world. So fuck yeah for Instagram. I mean, I'm not on there for the tits and ass because whatever. Um, when there's free porn, why are you looking at Instagram? You know what I'm saying? But so in the end, it's like, yeah, exactly. So it's a great platform. I mean, and what COVID did, there's always the yin to the yang, is it showed people that have been brainwashed into like the school, get a job, the teacups of the universe, like we were talking about. And it made them, because they were out of work, get creative all of a sudden. So suddenly these motherfuckers had to come up with some money. So suddenly they're starting to make balloons, decorating shit. And now they're making more money than they did sitting in a fucking office. And that's why nobody can get anybody to work from no more, because that break really showed people, hey, I don't have to sit there and deal with this shit. Because everybody has their own special talent, whether it's scientific, mathematic, fucking artistic. And it's just, if you can hone into that fucking talent. It says I got 10% battery, but if you can hone into that talent, then you're good. You know what I mean? Like I was saying, I mean, even if you can like go to work and do something on the side, and if you can make 500 extra bucks through Instagram, because people will buy your shit, your friends will buy your shit, I'll tell you. So whatever is crafty, hats, belts, fucking art, fucking sculptures, whatever, ashtrays. This is the new world. So I would suggest to people to like find what you like to do and slowly ease it into your daily life. And before you know it, that's all you're gonna do.
Yeah. Cheers to that, man.
Sponsored by Modelo and Dogtown.
Dogtown
And the
Modelo.
Dalai Lama.
All right, so I'll keep this last because you got 10% left. There's a few things I'm going to hit before we go. Bedouin hands,
Yeah.
and then I want to hit what you're doing now. I get Bedouin hands really quick. Tell me about them.
Well, basically, growing up in North Africa and Libya and in Algeria, the maids that I had maids, they had like facial tattoos on their hands and knees. And I had one maid called Mama that I remember, and she had them on her hands and her neck. Now, Bedouins up there in North Africa, it's probably the oldest form of kind of religion, but it's really like about the nature. So a lot of these patterns are like, oases, snake prints, lizard prints. So all those designs, the Bedouin, Hamza, Bedouin, North Africa tattoo designs are all based on nature around them. But, when the Muslim factor came in there, they kind of crossed it over, and the Muslim kind of belief went in and mashed, but these people still kept that kind of basic heritage of appreciating the surroundings, nature. So I growing up, a big part of that was pottery over there, and rugs. They do a lot of rugs. So when I met a girl and she says, "Oh, I got this machine," I said, "What? You can make a rug?" I was like, And I had like at that time was another time I didn't have any money really. I had $250 left, and I invested in that. And I just was fucking swearing and making holes every day. Fuck this shit. Fuck this shit. So about a month. Always takes me about a month learning curve. And then it started flowing, and I was like, all right. And they started selling. And when some shit sells, you feel good, you know. And when you feel good, you make more.
Your rugs are insane. Okay,
That's what's up.
how the hell do you start a rug? Like from the very very first thing. Like what is the thing you buy first? How do you
Well,
go?
it's called rug tufting, and it's not really like a lot of people are doing it, but what they're doing, and you'll see it all over online, is they're doing like Pokemon or fucking Nike, Adidas shoes. So everything's from an image, right? Nobody's using it as an art form that I've seen, and that's what interests me is to make rugs, but try to put art on rugs, tapestry rugs, whatever the fuck you want to call them. But there's a machine, and you can actually thread it, and it goes. Brrr, brrr. So it's funny. After 30 fucking years of using a machine, I got another machine that's going in a circle. It's just basically a giant rotary gun, you
Yeah,
know. And it's like, so it's like, yeah, fucking hell. Yeah.
it's fun, right? I mean, it's like it's basically a big ass tattoo. It's you're just
Yeah,
going.
anything you can do it's just a little learning curve, and that's why a lot of people are doing it. But I always looked at it as the art side of it rather than the fucking than just I'm not gonna sit here. Someone said to me, "Hey, make me my deli a rug." Tito's burritos. I'm gonna say no. It's for me. It's an art form. It's a series. I'll get bored again soon, and I'll be on to the next fucking thing. And I'm already on to some other shit in my head. But I'm gonna keep making rugs for now. But yeah, because that's it's great, and I enjoy doing it.
Yeah, and you do a lot of tigers, which is like the symbol of power. You were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, Thailand, yeah, and everybody likes goddamn tigers. But I did those tigers, but now I'm moving on. I did this rabbit, maybe a few more rabbits, and I was gonna kind of keep going and just see what happens. I want to do some big ones, and I actually want to do. I met some fashion designer, so I want to do a collaboration with him where we're draping him like robes because they're actually pretty drapable and kind of soft. So that'll be cool. So I was gonna have like a skull like that, and I talked to a welder today to make me like the whole body. Then I'll make the robes over it, so it has that kind of authentic thing with the big, heavy kind of cloaks on it. So I don't know. The mind's always working, and that's what I'm saying. If you can find that magic, man, then you're on a good pluck, as the South Africans would say. You're
What's
on a good pluck.
what's your idea of success for you?
Be happy, mate. Money is whatever. I have money. Fuck me. I made it and I lost it. And this is probably, I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse. I look at it more of a blessing, but my dad was in the regiment with Henry Singer from the Singer Sewing Machine Dynasty.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker, when I was young, I'd be in Monte Carlo on his yacht when I was young, 8, 9, jumping off of it, and then the next day, I remember coming down the stairs on half term, and he was sleeping on the couch. But hey, Henry, what you doing? He goes, make me a cup of tea. So I made him a cup of tea, and he goes, you see that bag right there, Mark? And I go, yeah. He goes, that's all I own. I have fucking nothing. I lost everything. He goes, but by next summer, you're gonna be on another yacht in Monte Carlo partying with me. Because once you make your first million, Mark, you can always make another million. So don't worry about it. Spend it. Have a good time. You'll make it again. And it's fucking true. And that's exactly once you get to that mark, you get to that, then it's reachable. And that's what it was. So for me, it was like, come win or lose, money don't mean shit to me. It comes, it goes. I had 7 fucking bikes at the same time, my Rolls Royce, an old one. I had a beautiful fucking car. I had it all. Fuck it, man. I had it. I lost it, and then I realized I don't need it. I don't even want any of that shit no more. I got a Harley. I got my little fucking car. I'm good, bro. I am good, and that's what's amazing. Like I said, it's like getting the Oscar, and once you get it, what's up? What else is there? What the fuck else is there?
Yeah. Well, fucking A.
For me, it's art. So for me, it's like, all right, here we go. I guess that's why all those actors do all that producing and directing at a certain point.
Yeah,
You know, because at a certain point, acting's fucking hard, and all right, I'll get behind the cameras and I can know these people. And hey, Brad, can you make this movie? All right, fuck it. You know.
Why don't
Yeah,
why
that poor cunt
don't
Alec Baldwin's in a fucking bit of a tough one over there.
he
Woo.
might go to
I
jail?
worked I worked in that business for a long time, right? And I know how that shit is, but hey, you can't give a gun to an actor who never shoots guns and make the actor responsible for it. It's fucking ridiculous. It's the armor's fucking problem.
Yeah.
She was a kid. They were saving money. Didn't want to pay for the old man. Got the kid because their father was the trainer. Got her involved and whatever. But yeah, it's a bit of a pickle there for him because he's a producer as well. So
Why don't you talk some shit on society? What's your the landscape of life right now? What can people do better? What can people do worse? What's up?
well, I think people in America definitely should pay attention to teenagers more and give them their voice because teenagers are just fucking adults. But in America, everybody treats teenagers like fucking children, but then they expect them to act like adults. And in America, you cannot drink until you're 21. So you have these dead 4 years or whatever, 18 to 21, where you can't do shit. You're lost. You're just coming out of teenage years. It's bullshit. It's like, like if there was more shit for those kids to do, then fucking hell, I think we'd have a better society. So for me, if people have money to invest in fucking teens, invest in fucking people coming out of high school at 15, 16, 17 and go, all right, you're good at that. You're good at that. You like science? All right, you concentrate on that. You're good at that. You concentrate. We'll teach you how to make t-shirts. It's easy. I could teach kids, teenagers, here's how you make t-shirts. Go make some money. Here's how you make some clay. Here's how you make this. Here's how you make rugs. I teach them this shit. Find the space. Because then they can go and fucking create their own fucking life and not get tied to the goddamn system.
Yeah.
Everybody's fucking talent, it's just finding the fucking talent. And these schools are like Victorian. My kid went to Santa Barbara fucking junior high or whatever, fucker, or I think it was maybe her elementary, but they got me I had to buy her a violin and a fucking clarinet. Who the fuck listens to clarinet anymore? A, and who the fuck listens to violin anymore? I know there's a place for classical fucking music. One motherfucker in 20,000 probably, Asian or with tough parents who likes a violin. But fuck me, come on. You want to teach them some music? Teach them guitar, karaoke, singing, fucking something they can use at clubs at night in between jobs to make extra money. They don't even teach you how to pay the fucking bills when you leave high school. They put all this pressure on you for college, and they didn't even show you how to get a goddamn write a fucking lease to a house, get a fucking car, pay a check. Nothing. They don't even show you how to balance a goddamn checkbook, and they sick you on the world. But you can't drink. You can join the fucking army, lose a leg for fucking $2,000 a month. Come on, it's ridiculous. So yeah, for me, my advice is, I don't know why I get into teen things, but for me, in the end, it's how this. Life is a fucking river. You Americans go tubing. I did it once in Louisiana. It was a great time. You're on a fucking thing and you're cruising down with your beer. Suddenly the fucking thing starts, oh, fucking hell. Bang, and you smack a fucking rock and your arm's broken, right? And then it chills out. You're like, fucking hell, my arms are the heels. And suddenly it starts going high again. And then you got nice lagoons, sunny, and then next thing you see is a waterfall. Homeboy is like, ba-ching! You're like, fuck me, and then you come out of that kind, you're like, bloody hell, that was hard. But now it's calm again. Now it's nice again. And that's fucking life, because it's going to take you down the goddamn river and you ain't going to be able to fight it. So you better just fucking go with the flow, keep your ears open, take advantage of life, recognize it's short. So do as much as you fucking can while you can, period. That's what I would say. Fucking travel too. Travel is the key to everything. Come on, get on a goddamn plane. Fuck Vegas. Fuck all that bullshit here. Miami. Go to Thailand. Go to somewhere. Go eat some good food somewhere. Go check out some local fuckers.
Cheers to that. Cheers to that. It's about cruise
Cheers.
ship. Dude, hey, floor is open for you. What are you doing? Where can people buy your shit?
Oh, just permanent mark on Instagram. I mean, that's my only fucking platform. I try Big Cartel, don't like it. I like people talking to me. Hey man, how's that? Because they DM me and I get the vibe on a motherfucker. If I don't like it, I ain't selling to you. Like, ha! That's only if I got money. If I don't have money, then you can, don't worry about it. You can be an asshole all you want.
Well, there you fucking go. All right, dude, this has been fucking amazing. Thank you so much for downloading Zoom.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And thank you for asking me and let me know when this shit's on. And, just, hey, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. And it was very interesting. I always like to get it out of me. I find it's like a purge. Some
I,
people have like psychiatrists, but this is better because it comes out of you. And that's good because you come back with memories. Like you reminded me about some shit when I was growing up. So that's always good.
yeah, man, I feel like I could unpack another 4 hours with you, but I
No,
didn't
no,
have the
no,
time, and I really appreciate your time. This has been
no
awesome.
problem, man. Hey, it's a real pleasure. Let me know in the future and everything. And thank you for asking me. And like I said, at Permanent Mark, Instagram, whatever. And it's been a pleasure talking to you, Zen, mate. And hopefully we can get together one day when I'm on the East Coast, are you?
Yeah, I'm in New York City, but I'll be back in town. I'll be
Hey,
back in
go say hi to my
at
friend
some
Chris
point.
Garver. You know Chris Garver? He was
No.
on Miami. Chris Garver. He was on Miami Inc. He's one of the best tattooers in the world. He works there. He's on Instagram. Chris Garver. He's got a blue tick, so he's for real. But have a look for him and go say hi to him and give him a call because he's a really good guy, very knowledgeable, and we got a lot of history. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's a great interview. If you can get Chris, and he can talk about the Miami Ink years. Yeah, because he hated that shit. All right. All right, mate. Good. Cheers, Ed. Thank you, mate.
Appreciate it.